I want to share with you my experience over the last 4 years going to apartments. One, because many of these big builders have asked me to do what are called water audits for various apartment complexes to see what is the state of affairs in these places. What I have seen shocks me utterly. One, no builder, no matter how big he is going to get you a fair deal in putting in a sewage treatment plant. All the plants I have seen, most of the time don't work. All the plants I have seen are under-designed. I have seen some sewage treatment plants which today I can't figure out what the hell they do. I've had with the Residents Welfare Association of a very large property. There were almost 1,000 apartments. They called me in at a time. It was very interesting. I wanted to tell you this because they said, the builder has operated the entire complex and all the infrastructure installed for the last 1 year. And I believe it's called a defect liability period. In that year, if anything goes wrong, they have to fix it in a way that it stays fixed. These guys said, this builder is telling us to take over the place. And the committee of the management committee of the association met and they realized none of them knew a damn thing about what they're going to take over. So where do we find out? So they said, we called you because we thought that you would be able to make sense of this. I said, of course I can make sense of this. And I spent a few days with them. When I said, what have you got by way of documentation? Nothing. You see, what kind of a sewage treatment plant he has given you? What is the capacity? What is the basis of design? Nothing. What is the routing of the pipes in that entire complex? Why? Because one particular place, recycled sewage goes through a network of pipes to individual apartments. And I was called there because they said, you go flush that toilet there. I went and flushed that toilet. I almost recoiled because there was a horrible smell as the water came out and the water was black. Now, the reason we ultimately found out was that there is a pipe running across the complex at a point where there's a dip. And possibly the pipe has taken a dip and that untreated sewage, because the sewage treatment plant doesn't work, has probably accumulated. How do you find it? Keep digging up the whole area to see which pipe does what and where it leads to. For instance, the consumption of water in any apartment complex or a gated community. We are supposed to, we've discussed figures like 135 liters per capita daily. I have never yet seen any apartment complex, gated community with 135 MPC. 250 to 450 is what I have seen. Now the joke is, when the person or the company that built this complex calculated what would be the waste produced, they said, okay, 135 LPC to so many people, so much. And the sewage treatment plant was designed to cater to that. I have seen several sewage treatment plants having to encounter water consumptions 2 to 3 times that. So the sewage treatment plant is drowned. The other unfortunate practice that builders adopt is to put an idiot sewage treatment plant in the basement. Let me tell you one thing, in the basement. Sewage treatment for the major part of this country utilizes one of the most time-tested methods, which is basically based on nature. It's called an activated sludge process. Right? Now when you get sewage is 20% sludge and the rest is water, which is used to flush this excreta down your tubes. Okay. Now that sludge, if it is fed with oxygen, air, it brings alive microbes which begin consuming the impurity and they live on the oxygen. They die out and more get born. And that is what your process is. It's a very simple process. But then you design a plant on this process and you use morons to operate it. You have nothing. Sewage in, sewage out. I have seen every place I've been to. Sewage in, sewage out. There is something like a tertiary treatment which we briefly discussed. Tertiary treatment is that stage of treatment which makes the sewage after secondary treatment suitable for reuse. Okay? I have seen tertiary treatment systems so choked that God knows how the sewage flows through them. But then you take the sewage at the entrance to the tertiary system in a bottle, keep it aside and take one at the outlet of the tertiary treatment system, keep them together, you don't know which is which. You just juggle the bottles around, you'll never know.
So by placing the STPs in the
Basement,
there is burning of oxygen.
No, it's not that. It's a process which uses oxygen. You have these air blowers which suck in air and bubble it through the sewage for that plant to work. Now, if you want to put in the amount of air that you need, don't put that damn thing in a basement because it can suck the entire air out. Now, let's take a situation, I've seen so many of them. The plant, one was really crazy. It's quite near. It has a beautiful rainwater harvesting system. I was thrilled to hear it when I went to do the audit. And I said, okay, show me where the rainwater goes. He very, very proudly took me and showed me that it all went into the sewage treatment. It wasn't very surprising. It was during the rains and I found that every time there was a good shower, the sewage treatment plant stopped working because it was ground. It overflowed. And believe me, when you have a basement that is underwater, meaning all the motorized equipment of your STP are underwater, and that is dilute sewage, you find me a group of people, workers who are willing to go in there and clean up that muck. You tell it. I've told the big builders, I said, okay, why in heaven's name can't you put an STP in a corner by itself? Because it's that important. It needs the best attention, it needs all the air it can get. Space. No, it's simple. The guy wants to sell, make as much money as possible for the area he's got.